Mark Parham from the Cat Builder Talk Radio Show, and welcome to the special online event, How to Make It Your Best Year Ever 2015. We're going to talk about how to get out of your own way, simple strategies to get the most out of 2015, and how to create a plan to change your life. The big thing is, what story do you tell when you run into yourself 12 months from today? So this is coming to you from the Cat Builder Network. We have online small business training and education. We have small business coaching programs and products. And we have Cat Builder Talk Productions, radio, video, and TV productions. So if you want more information, go to catbuildernetwork.com, or you can email me at marcp@catbuildernetwork.com. Tonight, your host for the show are going to be myself and Mohammed Zaire from 360 Grill and Marketing. Look, a few things to know about me. I'm an experienced speaker, author, and business coach and trainer, and I wrote a book called Yes, I Can Develop My Idea and Start a Business. You can go to markeparham.com, that's Mark spelled with a C, and YesICanBookSeries.com to find out more about the book. I'm a member of the Business Forward Leadership Council, so I was invited last year to meet with the president about the shutdown, just a small group of people right outside the Oval Office. He asked me my opinion on small business and things like that, because I do a lot of advocating for small business in D.C. I'm also creator of the Cat Builder Network, a very comprehensive site that has all the tools that can help you learn how to start your business and change your life. And finally, I'm the host of the Cat Builder Talk Radio Show, which is on every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. on the Survival Radio Network, and daily from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Radio for Divas Network. Now, Mohammed Zaire, he's a personal development strategist. He's come up with the coin, the why, how, what strategy. He's a human potentialist where all things are possible. He also does business development, branding, training, teaming, coaching, and he helps you with your social media and website development. He has 30 years of experience in sales, marketing, training, and leadership, and his problem-solving strategies. And he's also the guest co-host of the Cat Builder Talk Radio Show.
Now, the guidelines for today, I don't want you to be afraid to ask questions. There's a way that you can raise your hand and ask a question, and you can participate. You can chat with us. But I want you to just open your mind to learning something new. So just locate the chat box on your screen or raise your hand. We'll recognize it, and we'll either try to answer your questions or get back to you when it's time for us to be able to answer your questions. If we do ask you to talk, right now everyone is muted. You'll be unmuted when it's time for you to speak. Also, when we finish today, we're going to be sending you an evaluation about how we did tonight. We want to know, how well was it run? How was the sound? We're going to always be trying to improve our quality, so we need to know from you that it worked for you. So the only tools you're going to need for the workshop tonight, I want you to have a journal or a piece of paper, because I'm going to ask you to do some things tonight where I want you to write some things down. So get out that journal or get out a piece of paper, because you're definitely going to be using it tonight. I want you to also have a calendar available, because I'm going to be asking you to put some hard dates in the sand. So you're going to use a calendar on your phone or have a paper calendar, but I want you to be able to look forward into the future. And I also want you to have a mind ready for change, because it'll be very important that your mind is open. And we're going to go through a lot of information tonight. It's only going to be about an hour, but you're going to get your money's worth. So the topics we're going to cover tonight: 1, mindset, training your new mind. A lot of us have minds that have been with us for a long time, but in order for you to make changes now, you're going to have to train a new mind. We're also going to talk about destination. Where is it you want to go? What are you trying to do with your life? A lot of us are thinking destination about tomorrow. We want you to think farther out into the future. Also, commitment. Sometimes our biggest issue is committing to ourselves. And collaboration, having the right relationships, and finally action, taking the right steps. So for each topic, we're going to have a discussion. So we're going to talk about it. Mohammed and I are going to chop it up, and you can ask questions. We're going to talk about tools that you can use to kind of change your life in the certain areas that we're going to be working in. And we're also going to be talking about recommended actions that you can take that are going to improve or get you able to use the things we're talking about. What you're going to find tonight, a lot of you will listen to our radio show where we talk strictly about business, but this is going to be a little bit of a departure, because we're going to talk about a little bit more than business, because what we're finding out is that a lot of people want to go into business, but they don't have the training of their mind yet to get them there. So we're going to talk about some of the techniques that we use to make that happen. So the first thing we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to move right into it, is mindset, training your new mind. So our discussion is first going to start, the mind is a muscle, okay? And it needs to be trained the same way everything else is. And it's just very important that we work it. So what I want to do is teach you that it needs to be trained, okay? And it has to be trained by us working together and training your mind. So it's up to someone else that has trained it. And what I want to find out is that you're going to learn that through your life, someone else has trained your mind. When you're growing up as a child, your mother and your father taught you. Some of your parents may have never even taught you how to think on your own. They just told you how to do things. You went through school, they told you how to do things. On your job, they're telling you how to do things. So they've been training your mind. Now it's time for you to start training your mind. It's time for you to take over. So we're going to show you tonight some techniques on ways of taking over. And we're going to have Muhammad join in here right now. And I want him to talk about some of these issues.
Hey, Mark. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate. You know, we've always had the fun of speaking about this concept that we call the entrepreneurial mindset. And quite often we speak about it as an entrepreneurial mindset, but in reality it's a personal development mindset. What do I mean by that? It's simply our ability to realize that we are in control of our lives and our destiny. And as you say, we have to exercise that muscle. If we don't exercise it now, others will exercise it for us. So I really look forward to this being a fundamental point or foundation in order for us to move forward. We have to take care of our own destiny.
So some of the tools we're going to use, one of the things I want you to learn how to start doing, I call it mindset down. It's going dark, okay? You know, some of us call it meditation, some call it prayer. I call it going dark. I mean, so dark that nobody can reach you. So I want you to start thinking about 30 minutes every day. I don't know if it's in the morning, as soon as you wake up. You might set your clock for 30 minutes earlier. And I want you to go dark. During that dark period, I only want no external noise and only the noise you choose, all right? So if it's meditation music, if it's, reading or sounds or meditation, I want you to choose the noise that you hear, okay? For every 30 minutes, every day, I want you to go dark. And then the actions I want you to do after that, going dark, I want you to have a conversation with you, all right? I want you to start talking to yourself and find out what's going on with you. One of the things that we don't do enough of, you know, they used to say it was crazy if you talk to yourself, but you might find that the self you're talking to is not the self you are today, it's your future self. You might be talking to the self you want to be 12 months from now or 3 months from now. You need to have a conversation because that future self can tell you how they got there. Okay, so what I want you to start practicing is talking to yourself and then write down what you discuss. It's important that we start journaling and writing down the things that are important to us because we can now learn how to live our lives and how to look to the future by listening to ourselves versus, you know, mom and them, our sisters, our cousins, our friends. A lot of times they have advice for us, but you're going to find that you have better advice for you than everyone else does, okay?
Yeah, Mark, I agree with you 100%. In fact, it's quite interesting. You know, this thing about speaking to ourselves, it may sound a little schizophrenic. Sometimes people like try to make it sound as if when you speak to yourself something's wrong. Well, the reality is that you should be speaking to yourself, just as Mark is saying, and you should be allowing yourself to take advice from yourself. And that sounds kind of funny, but you have an inner wisdom that you have to be able to tap into, and that's what this is all about. Setting up goals, setting up discussions with yourself, going dark, allowing that inner wisdom to be quiet. In fact, one quick tip, Go out and buy a blindfold for $1 or $2 at the dollar store, and get some of those little earplugs and put it in your ear.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, when you knock out the light and you knock out the sound, you'll start to feel a really interesting vibe happen. And that's kind of the silence that you need to go into. Do that for 15, 20 minutes, and you'll be well on your way.
Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about tonight is destination. A lot of times we don't know where we're really going. We haven't set a path for ourselves. And that's even more important, because what if you had a meeting with yourself 12 months from now, you schedule a meeting, what are you going to tell yourself about your life? I want you to start thinking about this. Think into the future. Think destination. Think 12 months from now. What is the story that you want to tell to you about what happened over the last 12 months? You want it to be a great story. Start thinking about all the things that you want to happen next year. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to give you some tips later on how to make those things happen. But I want you to start thinking about destination. Because the thing that's most important about it is that you have to have some place to go. So, what I have on the screen right now, this is what I want you to do with a piece of paper or your journal. I want you to take it, and I want you to start thinking about, I do things in 3-month increments. What about you, Mohammed?
Yeah, 90 days, that's it. You can't really do much more. Can't control much more than that.
Because a lot of times when we try to plan a year out,
Life gets in the way.
Life gets in the way. Yeah, life gets in the way. So I want you to take out your paper, your journal, and I want you to write down. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do this. I wish I had some music I could play while you're doing it. But in 3 months, I dream of having. What do you want to have? It's nothing wrong with being, I want a new car. I want a new house. I want a new boat. I want a new bike. I want a cabin in the mountains. Write down what it is you want. Okay? There's power in writing. Then I want you to write down, in 3 months, I dream of being. Who do you want to be in 3 months? Like for me, I want to be a very highly accomplished speaker. I love doing my radio show. I really want to take it on the road now. I want to reach every small town or big city I can and stand on my soapbox and preach about starting a business and taking over your life. But who do you want to be? Okay? I want to be healthy. I want to be, in good health and good shape. I want you to write those things down.
Yeah, Mark, you're saying all the right stuff here, because what we have to do in order to change our lives is develop images in our heads that we then move toward in physical reality. That sounds wild, I know, but the deal is that whatever we can visualize strongly and with emotion, we can actually bring into our lives. So 3 months, I have a dream of having. It has to be something physical and tangible in that respect. Go out and smell that car. Go out and, get into that house. Walk through that, whatever it is. Experience it. And the dream of being, oh my gosh, that's where you get a chance to really soar. But when you soar, bring in your emotion, bring in that happy smile, start seeing yourself. It'll make a world of difference.
And the last thing, doing, think of doing something, traveling. I want to travel to Costa Rica, or I want to go to Buenos Aires, or what do you want to be doing? Put that down there. Let's not worry about the cost at this point. I just want you to really focus on what it is you want to do in the next 3 months, okay? And write these things down. Hopefully you've been writing while we're talking. I'm trying to give you some time to write them. But this is going to be part of what we're going to show you how to do in some of our coaching. But tonight I just want to give you a little taste of how it's going to work. So when you write these things down, I want you to also ask yourself, is this a reasonable target goal? Is it reasonable? Okay. You might want a house, but is it reasonable that you're going to get it in 3 months?
Especially if you don't have a job.
Right. So I want you to work on things that you can do in 3 months. Okay. We're gonna start setting year-long goals later, but we're gonna take baby steps in it. So write something down that you feel that you can accomplish in 3 months. I also want you to think about, it doesn't have to be a goal that you do on your own. A lot of the biggest things that we do to change our lives, we need help. So I want you to ask yourself, will you need help making it happen? And if you do, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. How do you get that help? Where do you get that help from? Because a lot of time, in order for us to change, we do need help.
Yeah, Mark, you're right on it with there. I'm developing something, a program that I call teaming or collaboration, and basically it's helping people to understand that you need help in everything. If you're going to be in business properly, if you're going to be in life properly, look for the mentors, look for the help, look for the collaborators.
And the other thing I want you to start thinking about, because we're going to start now having tasks, is what is the very first task for each of those things that you wrote down? What's the very first task you want to do? For example, hey, I want to travel to Costa Rica. The first task is to find out what the ticket's going to cost in 3 months, so I know what I'm shooting for. So I want you to figure out the very first task that you need to do for each one of the things that you wrote down. We're going to come back to it later when we start talking about commitment. Now, it's so important about setting your destination because it's better to have a destination than just wander free. You know, a lot of times people are just letting other people determine what their destinations are. I want you to set a destination. Where do you want to be in the next 3 months? You're going to find that once you set this, it's going to be very difficult for people to move you off of your path.
Yeah, not only, remember, when you're setting that goal or that destination, put emotion to it too. If it's something, let's say you wanted to get to California, why? What's the emotion behind it? If you have a good, strong emotion, you have a better chance of things staying on target.
Now, what the real thing about having a destination is, if you're walking your path, it's very difficult for you to follow somebody else, okay? A lot of us are just kind of walking a path and following the masses. And a lot of us have been trained to do that our whole lives, so it's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's what you've been trained to do. We've been a group society. Everything the group does, you're supposed to do with the group. But if you're going to change your life and start a business or do something new, you're going to have to learn that you're going to have to be by yourself sometimes. You won't be able to travel with the group. What you're going to find is that there's going to be a new group out there for you to join.
Absolutely. Remember, you're an eagle. Eagles soar alone, yet they get together with other eagles from time to time when they need to.
And the other thing I want you to remember, if you're not controlling your time, someone else will be. Okay? The biggest thing about that, it could be your kids, it could be your husband, it could be your boyfriend, it could be your employer. If you don't have control of your time, believe me, everyone else will. But when you start charting your own path and doing your own tasks, you're going to be controlling your time, and you'll honestly be able to say, no, I don't have time for that.
And it'll be a wonderful feeling.
Right. Now, this is the big one, the big scary word. Now, I want you to read this with me, but I'm going to read it. There's a difference between interest and commitment. When you're interested in doing something, you do it only when it's convenient. When you're committed to doing something, you accept no excuses, only results. So we want to ask you, are you ready to take responsibility for what it is you're doing? So we're going to talk about it. There's generally two types of commitment. We either make commitment to ourselves and to others. And which one do you think we make the most, Muhammad?
I think we make commitments to others.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Commitment to others.
Yeah.
It's easy. Why do you think it's easy?
Because we have no responsibility for it. It's when we make a commitment to ourselves, we really are responsible now. We can't shove it, push it around, kind of say, oh, it ain't on me. It's somehow a whole lot more difficult.
So we do make commitment to others.
Absolutely.
Once again, I say with commitment, if you're not committed to controlling your time and effort, someone else is. So what we find when I do a survey and I talk to people about how many commitments they make, we find that most people commit their time to others. They're so quick to say, yes, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll run here, I'll run there. What you're going to find is when you start making commitments to yourself, and we're going to show you some techniques on how to do that later on, you will not have time for the commitments that other people are trying to place upon you. And you'll feel, a lot of times, if we're not doing anything with our time, when people ask us to do something, we feel guilty if we say no because we're like, well, I wasn't really doing anything, and they kind of did need the help. So the whole deal is making sure you have something to do that's bettering yourself so that you don't feel that sense of guilt.
Yeah. And it's also good, too, to recognize you might need downtime. So just because you're not doing something actively, your mind might be setting up your future. Remember, you have these things in your mind about what you want to be, where you want to go, and things of that nature. Your mind has to go back to those places and answer those questions day after day, minute after minute, to get you really into that mindset, if you will.
So the tools that we want you to use, I want you to pull out or just look at the things you just wrote down hopefully you have something now. In 3 months, I dream of having. In 3 months, I dream of being. In 3 months, I dream of doing. I want you to think about each one of these tasks, okay, or each one of these goals that you set. I want you to start thinking about what is it going to take to achieve these 3-month goals, all right? After you do that, I want you to make a commitment to each by setting a due date. Ooh, okay? Now, the thing about due dates is that dates can be changed, but sometimes when we put a date on the calendar that this is going to be completed, like for me, I said I'm going to go to Costa Rica in 3 months. So I'm going to go on January, February, March 22nd. That's the day I'm traveling. So now that I know that, I can work backwards and do all the tasks that need to be to go there. Is my passport straight? Do I have the ticket yet? Things like that. So I want you to select a due date for what it is you're going to be trying to do. Then I want you to make a commitment to each task or goal by making an appointment with yourself to work on each of them 1 hour per week. So on your calendar, I want you to use your phone, your calendar, and go, like for me, next week on Thursday at 1 p.m., I'm making an appointment to work on the task of me going to Costa Rica. Now, whether or not I use that whole hour doesn't matter. But I know for that, at 1 p.m., Mark is meeting with Mark to sit down and research my passport situation, research prices of Costa Rica, or do whatever it is I need to do. Now, if one of my tasks was purchasing a home in 3 months, for that hour, I'm making an appointment with myself that I'm going to spend an hour researching homes, calling realtors, but I'm going to do this every week. I'm going to make an appointment with myself, same time, every week, so I know that I have committed myself to this task.
Yeah, there's a point I want to bring up here because, it goes back to what we were saying before. We're more committed to other people than we are to ourselves. When we make this appointment, don't do it in pencil. Do it in pen. You are going to keep this appointment no matter what. In other words, it is the most important thing for you to do, as if it were a $10,000 an hour client that you had who wanted to speak to you between 1 and
I don't know about that.
Yeah. This is our future. Guess what?
Right.
It's a $10,000 client. Before we get into this higher level thinking and acting, it'll be a $30,000 an hour client halfway through. So it'll be well worth it. So keep that in mind, because you're going to see and feel things that you think are more important than what you're about to do. And the reality is, this is your life. You're in charge of it. And if you can't be accountable to yourself, shame on you.
Yeah. What I do personally, I make appointments for myself between 5:30 and 10 a.m. every morning. That's my time. So I make my appointments during that time. If you'll notice, when you're trying to schedule an appointment with me during my appointment system, you can't schedule an appointment before 10:30.
So you block off a period of time.
I block off time.
And this is mark time.
This is mark time. I go dark, from 5:30 to 6:30, and I might do yoga or I might do whatever, but I work on me. Okay, that's when I work on me. I work on me first thing in the morning when I got most of my good energy.
So you put you first.
Yeah, I guess I do.
In this life, in this world, your life, in your world, you put you first?
I do.
Oh, my gosh, that must be really selfish, Mark.
It is. But I do it religiously, and it has changed my life. So I get up extra early in the morning at 5. Now, I don't always have to get out of bed.
That's right.
Okay? Sometimes I go dark right there. I'll put on a meditation tape or something like that. Or I'll get a journal out and I'll start writing. So it doesn't mean you have to get up and be active.
Right.
But that's my time, up until 10 o'clock.
That's interesting. I use the very early morning time to do the same thing. And I don't necessarily get out of bed. I put on the blindfold real quick. And then I go into what Mark is calling dark or meditation. And I plan my day. I see my day as it's unfolding, as I wish for it to unfold. And then when I'm through, I walk into that day that I planned. Interesting.
Now, the most important thing about making a commitment is that you have to share it with someone.
Absolutely.
You have to share it with someone that's objective. Sometimes that's not always your family.
Yeah.
It's not always your friends. And that's sometimes where coaches come in. That's one of the reasons we exist, because people feel that they can share stuff with us that they can't share with others. The reason why it's important that you don't share it is because everyone's going to have their opinion of what it is you're trying to do. And I'll tell you what, until it's hard-boiled, if it's still something soft, their opinions will and can change your goal.
Absolutely.
And we've been taught, the reason why is not that you're soft, is that our whole lives we've been trained to let other people influence what we do.
Yeah, we were taught that that's a good thing to do. We should be open. We should listen to other people. They may have something good to say. Well, yes, they may, but when you're in this critical point of development, the way Mark is speaking of it now, you have to protect yourself until you get strong enough to be able to do what you need to do.
So find someone to share this with. We're going to give you ways to share with us later, but find someone objective that you can meet with and say, hey, look, this is what I plan on doing for the next 90 days, and help them hold you accountable. You know, they'll call and check on you. Hey, how you doing with that thing? You know, and don't get mad, don't get all sensitive. But the fact is you have to share it with someone so you have someone to help you stay on task. It's so easy to be diverted.
Absolutely. And, we call them accountability partners. So just as they are a partner to you, offer to be a partner to them for what they want to do.
Right.
So now you both are on equal ground. You're not getting anything that you aren't giving, so you're equal.
So the next topic we're going to go over is collaboration, having the right relationships. Okay? Now, you hear the expression birds of a feather. Now, I see you're looking at the comic strip, but the fact of the matter is that we have a lot of friends and relatives that have been with us a long time. And I'm going to tell you, if you look around yourself, a lot of times you're in the exact same situation that they are, okay, because it's comfortable. That's why sometimes when you start feeling good about your life, sometimes you feel guilty because you know they don't feel good about their lives. So, and sometimes they make it obvious they don't want you to feel good about your life. So if you have the same input from those that are around you, you're always going to continuously have the same output. So we want you to change that. And we're going to give you some exercises to start developing new relationships. They are very important to change. If you only keep the people around you that you know today, you will continuously, even if you step out, be drawn back in to your comfort zone.
You're absolutely right, Mark. Tennis players know this quite a bit. In fact, this is a cardinal rule from what I understand, and that is you never play with someone who's plays equal to you.
Right. So new input, new output. When you start being around new people, they're going to give you new ideas, new spiritual energy, new things. It's not going to always feel comfortable for you. It's kind of hard stepping out on your own sometimes, going to events that you don't know anyone. But you have to trust in the fact that if you want to achieve your goals and objectives, you got to start getting new input.
And new input from people that you respect because you respect what they've done in life, how they do a particular skill. In other words, just like the tennis player, you don't play with people who are equal to you, meaning you play with a tennis player who is better than you so that you will learn. Same concept going on here in your personal life.
Now, some of the tools that I want you to use for this, I want you to write down right now 3 things that you need help with. Now, this is hard because a lot of times we feel we got it ourselves. But the biggest thing about change is realizing that you need help. So I want you to write down 3 things. I need someone to help me with, like, for example, for me, I've been speaking Spanish for a number of years, but it's been going away because I haven't been using it. Just this past week, I called someone to help me speak better Spanish. I'm going to actually pay this person, a couple $2 a week to come meet with me and help me speak better. Okay? I need someone to help me with my branding. I've done about as much as I can. I want to be this big speaker that goes around the world traveling and speaking, but I don't know how to do it. So I need help with that. I also need help. I've done all the website stuff work I can do. I need help with that too. But I want you to think about 3 things that you need help with, and don't be afraid to say that you need help. It may be speaking. Maybe you need help writing your action plan. You may need help writing your business plan. You got this idea stuck in your head, but you just can't get it out. You need help. So help is not a bad thing. When you're reaching for help, that means you're trying to expand yourself. Okay? The only time you're not trying to expand yourself is when you need help by accident. You fall down, you need help getting up. But I want you to think positive about this help. Think about, with this help, where you're going to be in the future. So I want you to write 3 things down that you're going to need help with over the next 3 months.
Yeah, you might find it initially, as Mark said, to be a little bit difficult, but it's a hurdle you have to get across. And the reason for that is, again, not only do you need help now, but you're going to need help throughout all the stages of your development. Collaboration is the name of the game. That means that we can't do it by ourselves, and we have to rely on others, which we have to rely on others anyway.
So these are the actions. In order to expand your collaborative world, I want you to select a month, one time a month, a new event to go to each month, a new activity. It doesn't always have to be around business. You could I used to take classes at Emory where learning to draw from the right side of your brain, or learning to play the guitar, or learning how to do something. Just a new activity where you're surrounding yourself with new people. You're going to find that when you go to events and activities, you're of like mind. Everybody's there to learn how to draw. They don't care who you are, what you are. We're just drawing here, or we're just learning how to play the guitar. And a lot of times we say, oh, it costs too much. Right now, you look at any of the community organizations, or there's a lot of continuing education workshops, $20 you can go learn something. Okay? There's a lot of free ones. But what I want you to do is step outside your world and find something that you're curious about that you've never explored before, and start taking yourself to these things.
Mark, you're absolutely right. I know for myself, I sit behind a computer screen sometimes 6 to 8 hours a day and realize at the end of 8 hours that I haven't moved. And all of a sudden I wonder why my back hurts and this and that, all that kind of stuff is going on. But what's more important than that is that the only new ideas I got was from myself, which means they weren't really new ideas. They were just for me.
Right. So
I need to go out of the house in order to get brand new ideas and then incorporate it in what I do. So you're absolutely right, Mark.
So the one other exercise I want you to do, when you go to these events, it could be a business networking event, it could be an art class, I want you to meet at least one new person that can possibly help you.
Absolutely.
Now, it can help you draw better. So maybe you play music, maybe they're an advanced guitar player, you're taking a guitar class, or maybe they speak advanced Spanish, you're taking a language class, or French, or whatever it is you're trying to learn. But I want you to meet one person. If you go to a networking event, you get business cards from all kind of people, but I want you to identify one person that can help you. And then I want you to meet or talk with this person within 48 hours of meeting them. A lot of times we meet people and we say we're going to get back to them, but it's weeks and weeks go by before we reach out. I want you to make it a point that if you meet someone that you feel can help you, I want you to ask a question and see if they can help you.
You know, that's a really difficult one for a lot of people, Mark, because a lot of people deal with the fear of meeting somebody new and of asking questions. Remember, they're there wanting to do the same thing. We're all out there in our business suits, you know, or in our personal suits, and sometimes we don't want to let people know that we have needs. Well, guess what? Everyone does. So when you go out to these marketing events or these networking events, first of all, know what it is that you need. So you'll know what it is when you find it.
Well, I think if we go through the exercises that we did, I need help with this, I need help, I need help. These are the reasons why I want you to start working on these things before you go out, because you'll recognize the people that can help you once you go out and start spreading your wings.
Absolutely.
So, once again, I want you to select an activity or event to go to each month, just one. I want you to meet at least one person that could possibly help you. Sometimes we meet people that say they can, and if we get to talking to them, we find out that they can't. But I want you to at least open yourself to the world of possibility that there are people out there that can help you. And then I want you to, this is the most critical thing about this, meet or talk with this person within 48 hours. It could be a phone conversation. It could be you meet for coffee somewhere. But I want you to communicate with this person within 48 hours, because you're still fresh to them and they're still fresh to you.
And when you meet them, don't only think in terms of what you want from them. Think of how you can be helpful to them.
Right. I think that's
Make it a collaborative effort. I can help you with this. Maybe you can help me with this. And maybe there's no need for an exchange of money. It's just an exchange of talents and services. Something to think of.
So this final thing we're coming to is taking deliberate action. How are you going to make 2015 your best year ever? And it involves taking the right steps. Now, we all know, you know, I'm trying to reinforce this, same input, same output. So if you're doing the same activities next year that you're doing this year, you're going to have the same outcomes, okay? So if you're just getting up, going to work, and you say, I'm going to get to it, I'm going to get to it, I'm going to get to it, you're going to be here this time next year, talking to your future self, and you're going to say, well, what did we get done? You're going to say, you know what, the same thing we got done last year.
Yeah. Now, a lot of you had a very good 2014, but you're going to have to do something different to have a really good 2015.
Right.
So don't sit back on your laurels and say, oh, yeah, man, I made, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. I ain't got to do nothing. No. The world is changing, and it's changing fast. We all have to adopt new strategies that adjust to the world we're in right now. So you have to plan for it. Plan for something new.
New activities, new outcomes, okay? So I want you to start thinking. That's why in the prior thing, I wanted you to commit to doing one new activity a month. And I'm going to tell you, I promise you that if you do one new activity a month, you will start seeing minor changes in your life. Sometimes they may be major. I've done things, when I started trying to learn Spanish, I started going to these meetups, Spanish meetups. I started meeting people that really could help me. When I started playing congas, I'm a musician, I met a friend of mine who has houses in Costa Rica, and that's where I go every year now. All because I stepped outside the box and decided I wanted to learn how to play a musical instrument. Now I have a place to go in Costa Rica, and we're actually very good friends. So you're going to find that stepping out of your box, new activities creates new outcomes. You got to look at what you're doing right now. So I want you to spend time when you're going dark figuring out, what are you doing? How are you spending your time? And I'm going to give you a tip on how to do this here in a minute. But you got to figure out what you're doing right now, because if you don't know what you're doing right now, you don't know what you need to change.
Absolutely.
Okay? So I think it's so important that you start analyzing, what are you doing right now? Because I want you to focus on being productive instead of busy. There's so many people that you call them up, and they're the busiest people in the world.
Absolutely. No, I got time for nothing. I got time.
But they're not productive.
They're not productive.
Right.
So we have to even define what's productive.
Right.
And productive, you can't define it until you know what the end result is. You have to have an objective in order to be productive. Right. Otherwise, you can't measure it.
Right.
And productivity is a measurement concept.
So these are the tools and the actions I want you to take to move yourself forward to developing the best year ever for 2015. I want you to get out your journal again, okay? It's going to be a daily task. I want you to keep a daily time log just for 3 days. Normally I say 3 to 5 days, but a lot of times people can't. Just for 3 days, I want you to keep time. But I want you to only track your major activities, okay? So that means, what time do you wake? What time do you go to sleep? Wake up in the morning? What's your overall feeling about this particular day? When and what do you eat? You're going to find, when you start tracking your food intake, it's going to have a direct correlation to your spiritual and physical energy. Okay, we're learning now, a lot of people are running around finding out they have type 2 diabetes and things like this. I was diagnosed a number of years ago, but when I learned that all I had to do was change my diet,
That's it.
and exercise,
Yeah.
it totally changed my life.
Absolutely.
All right, so I want you to track when and what you eat. A lot of you wake up in the morning, get dressed, you don't eat anything till 11 or 12 o'clock. So what's your body using for fuel? It's burning up stuff that it should not be burning, okay? You need to give it some fuel in the morning, a good bowl of oatmeal or, a vegetable, make your own smoothies, but you got to start fueling yourself out the gate.
And that's just as bad as those who wake up in the morning and have that big bowl of sugar,
Right.
and call it cereal of some kind, Fruit Loop, something, I don't know. But it's not good for you.
Right.
So we have to learn. So by doing this exercise, we'll get a feel for, oh my gosh, I had this at this time, I had this at that, and I didn't do this, or I did do that. Something to look at.
Right. Now, the other thing I want you to talk about or jot down are the activities that you plan. What did you have scheduled for your day?
What I scheduled for myself?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
okay, I got that.
But what's more important, I want you to track activities that you did that you didn't plan.
Wow.
Things that people came in, hey, Mark, I need you to do this, or can you do that? That's where you're going to start learning what your commitment is to. Are you committing yourself to you or to others?
Wow.
Because what you'll find a lot of times when people come and ask you to do something, it's so important. If you tell them you can't do it right now, somehow that problem gets solved anyways.
Does indeed.
Okay?
You know, as simple as sometimes, you know, the phone rings, you can look at the caller ID, you know it's somebody that needs help with something. I swear if you wait and call them back in an hour,
The problem will be gone.
the problem will be gone, okay? So you're going to have to learn how to not let people control who you are, all right? And it's so, so important. So, most important activities that you did not plan, I want you to track those. But just keep this journal for 3 days, okay? And you will find that after 3 days of looking at it, you'll find where a lot of your time is just being taken from you. You know, so track these things. So summary, we're going to go back through this and see what's going on. Mindset, training your new mind. It's time for you to take over your mind and not let other people still control it. Some of us are adults. We've been taught that we need to listen to what our boss says, and what our family, and what our mother, our father, and our sisters and brothers. You need to start thinking for yourself.
You know, that's a hard concept for a lot of us. I know it was difficult for me for a long time. But as you're saying, Mark, it's quite clear that once you do start determining your own destiny, a whole new world opens up for you of possibilities. Things that you never even imagined, but because you're now self-motivated and self-directed, you can get it done.
Right. Destination. I want you to start thinking about it. If you had a meeting with yourself 12 months from now, what are you going to tell yourself about your life?
Wow.
Have that conversation.
Ooh, you're getting heavy, Mark.
Yeah, well, I'm not
You're
trying to
getting
get
deep and heavy, man.
But I want you to start thinking about that. Where are you going? What do you really want to be? Commitment. If you're not controlling your time and effort, someone else is. So you have to take responsibility for your time. Take responsibility for you. Because it's just going to be important that the commitment thing, when you start making commitments to yourself, the commitments you make to others will be even stronger.
You know something, Mark? You can think of it as you're becoming your own new client.
Right.
How would you treat if you had a brand new client who was paying $10,000 an hour, how would you treat that client? Well, consider that the client that you're going to visit or spend time with.
So, and collaboration, I want you to start developing new relationships, new input, new output. So do the things that we've asked you to do, and we're going to help coach you through this, so you're not going to be in this by yourself. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But I want you to start developing the right relationships with the right people. And now, the final thing is new activities and new outcomes, taking the right steps. Try some of these new activities. Find something new to do each month. I don't care if it's a cooking class. I don't care. Go to a different church. But go where there's newness. One time a month.
You know, we're speaking about this in terms of business and personal, but it's also necessary in order to keep the brain healthy. When the brain is learning something new, it stays healthy, very healthy, and it grows back the cells, the new brain cells, and so forth. It's a scientific point. So, yeah, we need to do something new all the time.
You know, so we want to show you how we can help you, okay? You know, for a limited time, we're going to help you develop an action plan, okay? We're going to, after we get through with the call today, you're all, about 9 o'clock, you're going to get an email that's going to have a couple links. Develop your plan or schedule a coaching session with us. What I'd like you to do is develop your action plan. When you press submit, it'll come to us. We're going to review it with you, and we're going to do this for no charge. Because what our goal is to show you how to do this. We have a lot of coaching programs, but it's not one size fits all. So we tried in the past to say, everybody gets two sessions a week. Some people need one. Some people need 5. So we have to figure out what you're going to need to move yourself forward. So I want you to use our tools, because when you go and use our online tools, you're going to be able to set goals and objectives. You're going to talk about the potential obstacles. You're going to create task lists. You're going to create a list of people that can help you. And we're going to show you how to take direct action. Okay? The whole goal is to put your plan into action. So what I want you to do is you're going to receive a message when we get through. It should be coming out about 9 p.m.
Now, you can click on the link. You're going to fill out 1 to 3 goals that you want to complete in the next 3 months. When you submit the survey, you will then be able to schedule a free coaching session. When you press submit, the next screen that's going to come up is for you to schedule a session. You'll be able to look at my calendar and pick a time where you want to talk. Now, we're going to discuss this with you over the phone. It doesn't matter where you are. We do Google Hangouts. We use Skype. It doesn't matter where you are. We're also going to do this in the evenings. A lot of you are working during the day. You don't have time to think about you. We're going to make sure we're going to schedule this so you have time. But our job is going to be discussing your goals and the best coaching program that we have that can help you. Now, we have this site where you can go through it yourself. If you know how to do it, you can go through our site and write your own business plan without us helping you at all, other than evaluating it for you.
Right.
But we also have videos, podcasts, but I've been told that I have so much stuff out there, I have to coach people through how to use it. I've tried to make it so you can go right through it, but a lot of times the coaching is going to help you learn how to use it. And our goal is to get you to register for the program that best meets your needs financially, as well as your ability to work on your own. Some of you are going to need a lot of work with us up front. Some people work with me 90 days, and after that, they might need to talk with me once or twice a week for 90 days, and after that, I talk with them once a month.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're going to help you register for the program that best meets your needs, because we want you to get to that financial freedom.
Yeah, we want 2015 to be a stellar year. We want to track a lot of our people, too, so we can report back to people who are looking and asking us, are you really capable of doing that? Can you really change people's lives? And we say yes all the time. We hope that this group of people that we get over the next 30 days will be our proof group, if you will. We will be able to have moved them forward so quickly that people will be just clamoring at our door asking for the same kind of help.
Now, I know a lot of you are on the call tonight, but this is not just restricted to you. If you know people that want to change their lives and they just need a little bit of help, just forward the email that you received tonight to them. And they can register for the coaching, and they can register for the training. You know, we labored over how to do this. At one point, we were going to say, hey, for $99 you get this. But we decided to really help people. We really want them to start working and let us talk with you before we start telling you how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. We want to get to know you and for you to get to know us. And the best way to do that is to have a conversation.
Right. So, getting back to, we're coming down to a close now, the Cat Builder Network. If you go to catbuildernetwork.com, that's the center of our universe. But you can look us up on YouTube. We got a lot of tips and videos out there. If you go to catbuildertalk.com, you can see all our radio shows. Right now, if you go to Cat Builder Talk and you put in funding, you're going to listen to every radio show. And I've had the experts. I've had the people that can really help you understand how to get funded, or social media, things like this. I have 2 shows left in the year. I got a great guest coming on next week. He's going to talk about financial freedom, and I think the last show of the month I might have Meet the Experts. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. But if you want to reach me, you can reach me at markp@catbuildernetwork.com, or just go to the network and search around. When you go to the network, there's something that pops up that says have questions. If you click on that, you can send me a question, or you can schedule an appointment with me. So I want to thank you for coming out tonight. I know it's a Thursday night late, but I want to just say that I appreciate you. You've all taken the first step to change your time. You made a commitment to be with me this evening, and I'm going to show you how to keep making that commitment to change your life.
Absolutely. Thank you all for being here. We honor your time, and we honor the possibilities of your life. So let us help you reach some of those possibilities with collaboration and teamwork.
All right. So a couple things are going to happen. You're going to receive an email so you can take immediate action by taking the action plan. One thing about this plan, you can save it and come back to it. All right. You just have to click on the same email message that I sent you to get back into it. The other thing that I want you to do is to tune in to us on Monday evenings. And you can listen to me daily on the Radio for Divas Network. Forward this message to anybody that needs assistance, and we're willing to help them. So stick with us, and we're really going to try to take you where you need to be while we're taking ourselves as well.
Absolutely.
So hopefully you enjoy this. You will be getting also an evaluation. Please, as soon as I end this, you're going to get an evaluation thing. Please take the evaluation so you can let us know how we did. You know, sound quality, all the things that make this a great webinar. We're going to be working on trying to improve it over the next few months, because we're going to be doing this once a week, every Thursday night. We're going to get together, and we're going to actually start having it where you can join us and be more interactive. So I hope you had a great evening, and I look forward to speaking with you every Thursday and every Monday night from here on out.
Absolutely.
So we can all make 2015 our greatest year ever. You have a great evening. Oh, I see we had a couple questions. Hold on. Yes, I will be sending out the recording of the webinar. I'll send that out. You'll be getting a link to it. So it'll be posted on all my sites. So you will be getting the recording. And thank you for the comments about great webinar, great information. But we're going to make it, I'm going to have you come on these webinars too, because I want to hear your stories. I got some great exercises for you that are going to be coming up, you know, where you're going to be using your phones to make videos for us about the conversation you're going to have with your new self. I want you to have that conversation now. During the holidays, matter of fact, one more challenge. During the holidays, I want you to get out your phone, turn on the video. Instead of just taking a picture of yourself, I want you to talk to yourself. Talk to your future self and tell your future self, or let your future self tell you where you're going to be in 12 months. And I want you to save that video, and I want you to play that video anytime you get down and out and struggling. You're going to find how informative that's going to be. So that's just one exercise. It's a bonus exercise.
Bonus exercise.
That I always do for people when I'm coaching them. So have a great evening. And if you have any questions, just respond to any of my email messages direct, and I'll make sure. Yes, it will include the PowerPoint. Everything you're seeing here, the recording is going to be the exact recording that you're hearing here. And I'm also going to turn the PowerPoint into a video on its own, and I'm going to publish that as well, so you don't have to hear us doing all this talking. All right? So have a great time, and I look forward to speaking with you all in the future.